Hi guys, it's Margaret from Let's Learn to Sew, and in today's video I'm going to show you how to use the hammer foot for your sewing machine. The hammer foot is what's going to give you this nice, clean, narrow rolled hem. And it's not the same kind of rolled hem that you would get from a serger. What it does is it actually rolls the fabric over and then stitches it down. So you don't actually see the threads along the edge of the fabric like you do on a traditional rolled hem on a serger. Depending on the make and model of your machine, it comes in several different sizes. For the Viking and for most other machines, it's going to come in 2mm, 3mm, and 5mm. Now this foot works best when you're sewing light to medium weight fabrics. So when we look at the front of the foot, we can see where it attaches to the machine. We have a large opening here for the needle. That's going to allow you to also be able to stitch decorative stitches with this, depending on your machine. And then this area here, this is the area that actually does all the work. There's a little scroll in here, and what that does is the fabric goes up, over, and gets turned under to make that nice clean edge. Now this area here, this section where it dips down from the scroll, when we fold our fabric over, we want the fabric to fold over and we don't want it to go past there, but we also want to make sure that it's right up flush with this edge here. So you'll see when I'm folding it over, my fabric, the raw edge is going to be up against this. That's going to ensure that we have a nice clean straight edge. So now let's turn the foot over. When we turn it over, we can see that there's a little depression here. This depression area is where the folded hem that's already been sewn, that is where it's going to ride in this channel here. That's going to allow the fabric to flow effortlessly from behind the foot as it's sewn. Basically, what we're wanting is for our fabric to come up over, the edge to rest here, and then the foot is going to scroll it under, and then we're going to stitch it down. Now to get started, you are going to have to set your fabric up. What you want to do is you want to fold it under 1/8 of an inch and then 1/8 of an inch again. And that's just to get it started, to make sure that that beginning stitches are nice and clean. You can either press it to hold it in place or place a pin in it. I'm going to line up the edge of my fabric just past the opening for the needle so that it doesn't get pulled down under. On ahead, and I've lowered my presser foot. What I'm going to do is sink my needle. I'm going to go ahead and take that pin out now because the needle's holding it in place. Take a couple of stitches. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring the fold up over, and then as it sews down the rest of the way, it's going to stitch into place. Now what you're going to do is hold your fabric up between these two fingers. You don't actually have to fold it under the machine. The foot's going to naturally pull it over. Go ahead and raise your presser foot and trim your threads. And take a look at it. As you can see, we have a nice, clean hem. And I went ahead and I did this in white thread just so you could see the stitches. This would be virtually invisible once you use coordinating thread. Now when I've taught this foot in classes, some people that are just getting the hang of sewing find it easier to go ahead and press the entire area 1/8, fold it under, and then do it another 1/8. And instead of doing it just at the beginning, do it the entire length. So I'll show you what that would be like. Go ahead and stitch. Raise that up over. And as you can see, you don't have to worry about holding the fabric because you've already folded it over into place so that it lays in the scroll, and then the scroll just pulls it through, keeping it nice and even. The first way I showed you is if you go to Brother or Viking, that's the way they show you to start it. Going ahead and folding it over 1/8 and then 1/8 again and pressing it is the way Singer and Bernina show you how to do it. Go ahead and raise your presser foot and trim your threads. Either way you get it started, you're going to have a nice clean hem. It just takes a little bit of getting used to getting the beginning of that fabric started, getting it under the scroll and lined up. If you have any questions about how to use your hem or feet, let me know in the comment section and I'll be happy to answer them.